It's finally here. The day has come. Time to unbox Super 7 Andre the Giant. Welcome everyone, Kyle here. Welcome back to the channel, and today, the longest delay, the longest pre-order of my life, it seems like. I don't know, that first series of Thundercats might have been in there, but Andre the Giant from Super 7 finally in through the door. I think I pre-ordered this, was it the end of 2019? Was it November, December, I believe this was pre-ordered? So basically one full year. Probably a little bit over a year for me to get this. And then, of course, like a lot of us out there, we're dealing with the same thing. This guy was lost in the mail for about 2 weeks. So I finally got Andre the Giant in, and I'm finally excited to unbox this one, as I don't believe this is the first Super 7 wrestling figure I have unboxed. This is the Ultimate Andre the Giant, as I said. We do know there's going to be another Andre the Giant, which I assume probably this time next year I'll be opening that one. Mixed thoughts on this one. I stepped out and I said, you know what, I'm going to try it, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to buy it. Was a little, I didn't know how the face looked on it when I looked at the prototype pictures that were out there. Mixed bag, I thought, so we'll see. I've heard a lot of people saying they like this figure. I'm still in the mixed bag mode, but we're going to open it up, we're going to talk about it, we're going to look at the packaging, all that kind of stuff. And this will be a little, foreshadowing to the Super 7 world. As we all know, New Japan Series 1, New Japan Series 2, Brian Myers and Matt Cardona figures. We're going to get more wrestling figures from Super 7. Hopefully that continues with other people. How about a Road Warriors? You know, stuff like that would be great. But we'll see what the wrestling figures from Super 7 are actually like when we unbox this bad boy. So without further ado, let's take a look at the outer package. As you guys may or may not know, Super 7's Ultimates are all in the same kind of packaging. If you saw my Thundercats video, you'd be familiar with this cardboard outer shell box. Collectors love this, and when you do sell these, let's say I want to sell this, you should really save this box, because that is actually worth something. So there you go, but it's a pretty plain cardboard box. Andre the Giant, nothing. A little bit of legalese right there. So not a whole lot to discuss and talk about here. Let's see if I can get him open. Easier said than done sometimes. You don't want to rip the cardboard if you can help it, for sure. Ooh, close one. I almost did. But let's see what we got inside. And we got to keep these boxes nice. So an easy see you later. There it is. All right, there's the Ultimate packaging. We've seen this before, like I said, with Thundercats. Going forward, all Ultimates will have this type of packaging. A lot of you guys maybe are familiar with the Super 7 Ninja Turtle line. They have packaging similar to this with an outer box that lifts up. But let's look at this outer one. Andre the Giant, right there. 7'2", 520 pounds. Little side picture of him there. Little side picture there. Little Ultimates there. Little legalese down there. And then the back, Andre the Giant action figure. So, like I said, first go around with Super 7 and wrestling figures. And this slides right off, I believe. Yep, just like all the other Ultimates. So you keep this outer shell. There it is. Keep this nice. See you later. Keep it nice. And we got Andre here. I'm taking a quick look. Doesn't really change my opinion so much from the prototype. It kind of looks, I keep saying kind of looks. No, it looks exactly like the prototypes, for good or bad. If you like those prototypes, hey, you're going to be a fan of this. If not, maybe you won't. We got 2 extra heads, extra hands. We do like the packaging on this. I like this a lot. And I believe they showed mock-ups of the Cardona and Myers figures, and I believe they have the same packaging with the ring ropes kind of in front. I think that is very solid. I like the looks of this packaging. Really sets them apart from the Mattels, AEWs of the world, and stuff like that. But very interesting. Comes with a beer can as well. I think that beer can is just a tad small. That's really nitpicky on that. But perfect condition. I see 0 issues. I'm looking at the bottom here. Andre the Giant and Andre Rousimov are trademarks of and licensed by the Andre Rousimov Testamentary Trust. So obviously that's how they're getting these done. We've seen reaction figures of Andre the Giant. We've seen a few different figures out there. Mego. I think everybody can work with the trust and get the license to make Andre the Giant figures is my guess. But there's the side of the package. Top is Ultimate. Legalese. Side. And then the back, you got another little old picture of Andre. Obviously, this is very young Andre the Giant. This isn't modern day. Most people think of Andre the Giant WrestleMania 3 and above, I think, anymore. People of my age, maybe we remember a little bit of this from stuff, but younger people than me, people in their 20s, when they think Andre the Giant, and probably the majority of people going forward, think of the black singlet. They don't think of the big old afro and stuff like that. It's just, seems like an eternity ago. But Andre really, when he turned heel, really turned his career around, if that makes sense, I guess. I mean, it put him to a new level of fandom and fame, and, you know, you got movie roles and stuff like that out of that. So it obviously worked well. Let me cut the top here while I got the blade out. The trusty blade. And then we got to read here. I forgot to read the back. Andre the Giant, height 7'2", 520 pounds, from Grenoble, France. Andre the Giant, born Andre Rene Roussimoff, captivated the hearts and minds of wrestling fans around the world. Captivating hearts. I use that all the time on the channel. It's sweeping the nation. It's a new catchphrase. Revered for his immense stature, the eighth wonder of the world became a legend for his many achievements in the ring and his appearance on the big screen. And as I was doing that, Lemmy fell down the stairs. Knocked over some stuff on his way down. Good boy, Lemmy. Crazy dog. He's my buddy, though. You gotta cut him as much slack as possible. So I open the top flap here, and then we are taped down. Okay, got it. There it is. Ooh, it smells plasticky. See you later. See if I can get this out of the shell. Here we go. Here's the background. No different than we see with the Marvel Legends, wrestling, you name it. Kind of a, I think those kind of like ring lights up top there, you know, like he's walking into the stage to go wrestle. I think that's what that represents. See you later. All right, now it's time for a little plastic prison shot. Boy, we got a lot of extra hands. He's got some big hands, as he should. He should have big hands. I don't know. There's the plastic prison shot. There it is. So let's see here. Let's unwind Andre. And while we're doing that, you guys let me know in the comments. Well, first, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You know, we're opening figures every single day on the channel. We're discussing figures, wrestling figures, you name it. A lot to talk about, so subscribe to the channel. I'm very curious, though. Did you pick this up? Are you planning on picking this up? Is this something you want? Is this a hard pass for you? It's been so long, I can't remember how much I paid for this figure. I want to say it was around the $50 price point. All Ultimates, I believe, are around that $50 price point, and Andre being no exception. I'm not going to open up all of his extra hands. You guys have seen hands a million times. We don't need to go through a hands discussion. But look at this beer can. This thing is too small. I know they want it to look really big in Andre's hand. It's just too small. I don't like that very much. But I didn't realize this came with a soft goods jacket and a hard plastic jacket like we're kind of used to. I think that is pretty cool, giving us a kind of a best of both worlds. If you're a soft goods guy, you got that. If you're a plasticky guy, plasticky, yeah, why not? Works for me. If you're a plasticky guy, works for you. So very cool. I don't know. There it is. There's the old plastic one. We'll see which one looks better on him, and we'll go from there. And I don't know. I'm getting first impressions here. No loose joints. Joints are extremely tight. Paint applications, there's not a whole lot. The blue on the boots, the black trunks, just the face stuff, but I see no paint issues. I don't see any rubbing. I don't see any paint falling away. The joints are very tight, but very good ratchet to them. They don't feel like they could even get loose if you wanted them to. How hard are the hands to pull off on these? Oh, plug and play, very simple to pull the hands off, easier than a Mattel or a Jazzwares even. So that is a plus. I do like this soft goods vest, fringe vest, I remember. You know, whenever I think of fringe vest, I remember it was like 5 years ago, I was walking downtown with my wife, and she was saying, fringe is all the rage this year. It is so in style, all that kind of good stuff that, you know, our wives do from time to time. And the next thing we know, we saw some like 85-year-old man in a tie-dye shirt and a fringe jacket kind of like this, and I said, yeah, it is in style. You'll look just like that guy. And whenever I think of fringe, I always remind my wife of that story. So there you go. A little fringe talk. These two head scans, I don't know. You know, when I look at this Andre the Giant, I feel like it doesn't represent Andre the Giant, the actual wrestler. There's a lot of like graphic novels on Andre the Giant and stuff like that. It almost feels like they're making a figure of that comic book or graphic novel, not the legit real Andre the Giant. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's what it kind of looks like. They designed this figure off of a comic book of Andre the Giant, not the actual Andre the Giant. This head scan I will definitely not be using. I don't understand it. It's like supposed to be Andre with a 5 o'clock shadow, but to me it looks like Andre was in the back of the paint department at Home Depot and was like sniffing paint cans and it exploded in his face. That's what that reminds me of. I do not like this head scan at all. It's a little bit of a frown, so I don't know if it's supposed to be bad guy Andre, but that one's not for me. This one's not terrible. It looks like a much younger Andre, but I think I'm going to roll with the one that's on his head, actually. Smiling, gentle, jolly giant Andre the Giant is what this one is right here. There's that fringe jacket we talked about. The fringe is good. It's not falling off. It's not cheaply made. This is a very nice vest, I guess that's what's called. It's fringe vest. Like I said, it's all the rage with 85-year-old men and people back in the 70s and 60s. Take that off. You got a big Andre figure. It'd be cool if they had like a strap, like an extra body or a soft goods strap you could put on him maybe with a different head that had later Andre. Kind of a 2-in-1. That would have been kind of cool, but I'm sure we already saw they're putting out an early Japanese version of Andre coming next year that has a robe and all that fun stuff. But there's Andre without the robes. A bit naked, if you will. The beer can obviously will probably fit in his hand. It does. But it looks too small in his hand. I don't know. Is that just me? Too small? Just a hair small, I feel. But all in all, I really like the joints. I like the quality. I like the figure. Heck, it better be good. It's a $50 price point. You can buy 2 Mattels plus have $10 left, or actually 3 Mattels if you're buying them at Walmart for the price of this Andre. So I don't know. You gotta budget and ask yourself, and how big of an Andre fan are you? If you're a hardcore Andre the Giant fan, of course you're gonna get this. If this was Ultimate Warrior, you know I'd be in. If this was a $100 Ultimate Warrior figure, I'd be all over it. I like Andre. I got no issues against it. Is this a must-have in my collection? Probably not. I was just more curious than anything. Wanted to see how these would be. We've got a lot of Andres in this style in the past. Kind of forgettable a little bit, but one I always like to call out, and probably my favorite Andre, was the old school Mattel Amazon exclusive Elite. Represents this Andre. I guess you guys tell me, which one do you like better? Obviously he's got red boots here, but the Mattel, they're basically the same exact height. Look at that. I don't know if Super 7 looked at Mattel's version for height analysis and stuff like that, but they are the exact same height. Both got very good head scans. I don't know. The Mattel one, the head is a tad big, if you ask me. That's the only gripe with this, just a tad big on that. But I like the stance. I like the jacket. This jacket is much longer than the Super 7 version. Whoa, don't want Andre falling off. I'm going to see if I can get this on real easy. There's nothing easy when you're putting clothes on figures. We all know that by now. But let me get that on. There we go. Maybe. Doll dress-up time with Kyle. Let me dress my action figures. Maybe. Well, this one's a little hard to get on. It is plastic. It's not the super easy plastic to move around, but you can kind of see them compared to each other. I'd love to, you guys tell me in the comments, which one do you prefer? I mean, I remember when this thing was like $15 on Amazon for the longest time, clearance down. I'm sure it's worth more now. They're probably the same price point now going if you want them. Super 7 maybe just a hair better. I like this one a lot. But something about the smoothness of the joints and just the feel of this figure. This feels like a toy. This feels like a toy taken to the next level, if that makes sense to you. A little iffy on some of the head scans a little bit, but it is what it is. And then, the most famous Andre with the old perm look has got to be the old school LJN. Probably one of my least favorite LJNs. And I remember being a small child when LJNs were first introduced to me, and I remember seeing this Andre at garage sales and around and stuff, and I said, this isn't the Andre I know. I knew Andre from WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 3 was the time I was getting into wrestling. That was Andre to me. I said, when did Andre not wear a strap and blue trunks and have crazy long hair? It was always weird. I'm not a huge fan of this Andre. I like the shorter hair versions of the LJNs for sure more. And then just a recent get, and maybe the best one yet, the Jax Ruthless Aggression Andre in there. Got the frill and the soft goods, unlike Mattel, who has the hard goods. This one has both, so it's kind of best of both worlds, but there's been a lot of Andres here of the three. I love this one. This is the third time I've owned this one in my life. This is going to be hopefully the last time until I decide to sell my collection. But this Andre is a very, very solid one. All of them have some pros, all of them have some cons. I'll just put it at that much. This one, obviously, the most expensive. A lot of people wouldn't want this one anyways. It's so expensive and you wouldn't want to open it up. This one, $50 price point. This one's probably around there now, maybe a little bit cheaper. But if gun to my head, as of right now, maybe it's because it's the shiny new toy, I'm going to go with the Super 7 Andre, just by a hair over the Mattel. I just really like the joint system and the articulation and the feel of them. And it's also an Easter egg to the future. Uh-oh, I hear Lemmy. Do we hear him? The mailman's here. Hopefully, I get some of those packages that are being delayed. But I'm going with this Andre. The beer can could have been bigger. I'll see what happens. I'll take some glamour shot photos, see if I like what better. Do I want the soft goods, the hard goods on him? I don't know. I might mix it up and change it. I definitely don't like the Huff and Paint head scan. This one's just kind of middle of the road. I think this is the one I'm going to use with him. But all in all, a good figure. I'm glad I bought it. It sucks it took me more than a year to get it, but that's the way the life has went in 2020. So that's it. You guys tell me your thoughts on this. Did you pick this up? Do you have plans to pick this up? Are you going to get the next one? Are you going to get any of the Super 7 figures? Are you going down the New Japan road? Are you going to get the Matt and Brian figures? You guys tell me, and you guys also tell me, who do they need to make at Super 7? I know Great Muda, Ultimo Dragon, those get popped out a lot for some of these lines. Me personally, start bringing us some Road Warrior figures. Super 7 could kill it with some Road Warrior figures. Oh man, I don't even want to imagine how much that would set me back, and I would buy every single one. But you guys tell me in the comments which figures you'd like to see Super 7 make. Besides that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm Kyle. This is my best friend, Andre the Giant. And we'll see you guys later.